Hello everybody. We're going to carry on with our story of Moses again this week. Do you remember last week how the Israelites were in the desert and they were grumbling and moaning about not having their food? And God supplied food for them, didn't he? Well, now we're going to carry on with the story, and it's 3 months after the Israelites left Egypt, and they've been walking around and they finally came to a desert in Sinai. They camped in the desert in front of the mountain. A thick cloud hung over the mountain. There was thunder and lightning, and a very loud trumpet blast sounded. Everyone in the camp trembled. I think we would have done too. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God. God came to the top of Mount Sinai, and he called Moses to the top of the mountain. God spoke these words to Moses, and it's what we know as the 10 Commandments. And he said, I am the Lord your God. I brought you out of Egypt and out of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. The first commandment is to put God first. That means that nothing should be more important. Things like football or maybe games, video games, even your friends, they shouldn't be more important than God. So that's the first commandment. The second commandment is you should not make for yourselves an idol. So you shouldn't be bowing down and praying to a model or a statue. Just because we can't see him, God is there and we should be worshipping him. He's the only one we should be praying to. Now the third commandment, which is you should not misuse the name of your God, that's broken all the time, isn't it? God commands us to use his name with respect. Lots of people use God's name like a swear word or when they're upset, don't they? But God wants us to use his name when we're talking to him and telling others about him in a nice way. To use his name in other ways is very disrespectful and it hurts God to hear it. And the fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. When God created the world, he created it in 6 days, and on the 7th day he had a rest. And he's telling us that we need to have a rest on one day too. Now the 5th commandment might be a little tricky. Honour your father and your mother. And that means respect our parents. Sometimes you might think you know what's best, and you get frustrated because your parents won't let you do something. But they're just trying to keep you safe and from making mistakes. And then the next commandment is you shall not murder. Well, that means that you shouldn't hurt others either. If the whole world obeyed this rule, it would be great, wouldn't it? We probably wouldn't need any jails. We'd get along with everybody. And the 7th commandment is for those who are married. God tells us to be faithful in marriage. He wants us to love our wives and husbands. So one day when you get married, that's a really good thing to, if you get married, that's a really good thing to do. And the 8th commandment is don't steal. We shouldn't take things that don't belong to us. And then number 9, you shall not lie. It's always better to tell the truth. And you don't want people to lie to you, do you? And the very last commandment is you shall not be jealous. This means we shouldn't wish to have things that somebody else has. I know there's always a new toy or a game, but there's always something we want to get. But those things aren't really important. God is the most important thing. So Moses was up that mountain for 40 days and 40 nights with God. And next week we'll see what the Israelites were doing while he was there. See you next week. Bye.